Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. Motorsport is starting to poke its head out from its winter hole in which it hibernates, very briefly these days, and we have a few more series kicking off this weekend with WRC, Formula 4 UAE, and the one we are looking at today, Formula Regional Asia, formerly known as Formula 3 Asia. Let's take a look at the teams and drivers competing in the series for 2022. If you remember, last year's champion was Guan Yu Zhou, and now he'll be racing in Formula 1 for 2022. I doubt the champion of this series will do the same, and in fact will more likely be found cleaning Formula 2 cars in the paddock. So make sure you subscribe for more motorsport content, and let's take a look at the 2022 Formula Regional Asia. Black Arts Racing. The Hong Kong team finished last but one in 2021, but returned with a fresh lineup for 2022. Ido Cohen is the pick of them. The Israeli driver has shown flashes of skill in various formula, but hasn't really excelled at any of them. I first saw him race in the Motorsport Games a couple of years ago, where he did run near the front, but he's also raced in the Toyota Racing Series and Formula 3 amongst others without much success, and is a midfield driver at best. With him are Luxembourg driver Bryce Morabito, who has done very little racing and hasn't actually raced since 2019, so not expecting much from him, and experienced Swiss driver and businessman Thomas Luendi is just making up the numbers, with Alistair Young racing at selected rounds, and yes, that is the son of Malaysia's first F1 driver Alex Young, and now I feel really old. An uninspiring lineup for Black Arts. High Tech Grand Prix. A young lineup with 16-year-old Gabriele Mini looking like a very good young talent. He's already won the 2020 Formula 4 Italy Championship and did well in the Formula Regional Europe in 2021, finishing 7th overall with ART. Look to Mini for being a large success in 2021. 17-year-old Frenchman Isaac Hadjar has been competitive in every series he has raced in. He raced in half his series last year and still managed to finish 6th overall, and with this and a Formula 3 drive with High Tech in 2022, Hadjar is going to be one of the favourites going in. Leonardo Fornaroli is another young Italian with very little experience. He began his car career in 2021 in the F4 Italy Championship, taking a win and finishing 5th overall, but he is definitely one for the future. Joshua Defek is less inspiring. He's only been racing for a couple of years, and after finishing 4th overall in F4 Spain in 2020, he followed that up with 6th and 7th in Italy and Germany in 2021. He has a race win in Italy, but he'll be a forgettable midfield driver, and I think he will definitely struggle here. Finally, there's Owen Tangavelu, who is incredibly inexperienced and probably won't be racing at every round, so let's not bother. No idea who he is, and this is really the first time anyone outside his family will get to see him race. Some interesting drivers, and Hadjar and Mini in particular are ones to keep an eye on. If Hadjar races a full series, then he could be a championship contender. Pinnacle Motorsport. Delano van 't Hoff nearly won the Formula 4 UAE Championship in 2021. This year he steps up to the Formula Regional Asia Championship and will be looking to go one better. He's a good Dutch driver, and I think he'll have a hell of a career, but this won't be his championship. In 2021 he won the Formula 4 Spanish Championship with ease, but I think he'll find this series tougher. Alongside the Dutchman is Sally Jolek, a successful endurance racer who has won his class at Le Mans. It's interesting he's having a go at single-seaters, but I doubt he'll be at every round. Ayato Irizaki is a Filipino or Japanese youngster who is taking their first steps into car racing, so who knows. And finally, Spaniard Josep Maria Marti, or Pepe Marti, finished 3rd overall in the Spanish F4 series and looks pretty good, but midfield runner who might surprise. Mumbai Falcolns India Racing. This Indian team had 2 Indian drivers last year. Not this year though, as they run an expanded operation for 2022. A huge deal was made around Swede Dino Begonovic, but for me he has failed to deliver. He raced in half the F3 Asia Series in 2021 and scored a few podiums, before struggling with Prema in the Formula Regional Europe Series. He has one career win in Italian F4 back in 2020, and yet people still go on about him being a future star. To me, he is very average, but here is another opportunity to prove me wrong. He might as well, everyone else does. Arthur Leclerc is a bit of a surprise. He didn't have a great year in Formula 3 in 2021, but still took a couple of wins and will return with Prema in 2022. To see him step into this series and not with Prema is shocking, and given the level of competition, he has got to be the early title favourite. And I think he could win here, and go on to contend for the Formula 3 Championship. Maybe one day race alongside his brother in Formula 1. Sebastian Montoya, son of former Formula 1 star Juan Pablo Montoya, and climbing up the single-seater ladder, having started his car career in 2021 in Formula 4 Italy and Germany with Prema, No wins but some strong performances, this series will be a good chance to make a name for himself. Finally, Oliver Bearman is the real deal and another who could be a championship contender. He was last year's Italian and German F4 champions and is clearly heading for big things. Mumbai Falcolns have a strong team with all the drivers capable of winning races. They could be flying high at the end of the Formula Regional Asia Championship. Evans GP. They have split their team into two with a main Evans GP team and a junior team. Starting with the main team and the signing of eSport star Cem Bolokbazi, the Turk raced in this series last year with Black Arts and put in some okay performances, and took a couple of wins in the Euro Formula Series. In 2022 he'll make his debut in Formula 2 and is clearly seen as a star of tomorrow. Alongside him are Italian Nicola Marinangeli, who also raced in this series last year with very little to show for it. He also scored no points in the Formula Regional European Championship last year and has no hope like ever. Frederick Lubin too has achieved very little in his young career, racing in both the British F4 Series and the British Formula 3, not expecting much from these guys. In the junior team, David Morales has basically no experience and struggled in British F4, whilst Levente Revez struggled in the Italian F4 Series. Overall, Bolokbazi may do well, but I don't hold out much hope for anyone else associated with Evans GP. Abu Dhabi Racing by Prema. Let's start with the fact that the entire racing part of the Al-Khabazi family will be racing for the team. Experienced father Khalid Al-Khabazi will probably only race once or twice, but his daughters Hamda Al-Khabazi and Amna Al-Khabazi are really starting to make a name for themselves. Amna raced in this series last year and failed to score any points and didn't race anywhere else after. Hamda took wins in the UAE F4 Series last year and even took a podium in the Italian Formula 4 Series. It'll be interesting to see how much they've grown for 2022. With them are Estonian Paul Aron, a damn good driver who has been a Formula 1 junior driver for Mercedes. He has taken wins in most series he's raced in and did well in the Formula Regional European Series in 2021 with Prema. His career is going to progress rapidly in my opinion. Jack Crawford rounds out their lineup. The American put in some good performances in Formula 3 and will be looking to improve further in 2022. Both Aaron and Crawford will be threatening for wins, but it'd be nice to see an Al-Khabazi on the podium at least. Prema will always be hard to beat and it's an interesting group of drivers. 3Y Technology by R-Ace GP. 6 drivers announced, but Lena Bühler, a Swiss female driver with a bit of experience in Formula Regional Europe, and Francesco Braschi has some Formula 4 drives to his name, but neither appeared to be doing a full campaign. In terms of their main drivers, Hadrien David is a French Formula 4 champion and was runner-up in the Formula Regional Europe last year. He is another who should be classed as a talent for the future. Lorenzo Fluxer performed well in this series last year, but had a rough Formula Regional European campaign and needs to do better. Likewise, Oliver Goffer has taken a win in Spanish F4 and scored some points in the Formula Regional European Series, but has never shown anything of interest. Our final driver is Gabriel Bortoleto, who again is very inexperienced. Some racing in Brazil before turning up in the Formula Regional European last year. He did okay, scored a podium, but was still just a midfield driver. A weak lineup for R-Ace GP, but David could be one to put money on. So there are all the teams and drivers for the 2022 Formula Regional Asia Championship. A very interesting field with a lot of inexperience, but that usually makes for good racing. If I had to pick a champion, Paul Aron is the one I'd go for, but Jack Crawford, Isaac Hadger, Hadrien David, Arthur Leclerc, Oliver Bearman and a few others could all be contenders, and I think this could be a tough championship to call. Let me know who you think will win in the comments below. Remember to subscribe, leave a like and tell your friends. Thank you for watching and have a good one.